Welcome to the deep dive. You know, usually when you load up a predictive model for international football, the numbers paint this really sterile, highly predictable picture.
Oh yeah, very clean, very safe.
Right. Like, you look at a squad like Portugal, they're stepping onto their home pitch, riding this dominant wave of 7 wins in their last 11 matches.
Which is huge.
It is. I mean, that run includes a really tense Nations League final penalty victory against Spain. And then you look at their opponent, Hungary.
Right, who are on a completely different trajectory.
Hungary has dropped 6 of their last 12 competitive matches since the end of the last Euro qualifiers. So naturally, the model just draws a straight, clean line to like a routine 3-0 Portuguese victory.
Yeah, because the spreadsheet assumes the game is played in a tactical vacuum. It just calculates that the heavy favorite will dictate possession, compress the field, and basically just slowly suffocate the struggling opponent through sheer technical superiority.
But today's source material throws that entire spreadsheet completely out the window. We are unpacking an auto-generated YouTube transcript of this specific 2026 World Cup qualifier.
And we have to mention the quote right off.
Before we even get to the tactics, I have to point out this video title confidently declares that this is a showcase of Portugal versus Uzbekistan.
Which is wild.
I read the entire transcript 3 times. Uzbekistan is literally nowhere.
No, not a single reference to an Uzbek player. No tactical setup, nothing. It's just this completely unvarnished, raw algorithmic feed of a genuinely wild match between Portugal and Hungary.
So our mission today for you, our listener, is to bypass the algorithmic hallucinations, cut through all that messy data, and really examine how a guaranteed blowout turned into this massive tactical and psychological.
Because if you're listening to this, you know how heavily favored Portugal was going into this.
Exactly. The narrative was set. But then the whistle blows, and the reality of the grass just completely rewrites the script.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because in the opening minutes, Hungary lands a blow that, I mean, it defies every statistical probability.
It really does.
Attila Szalai scores.
Yeah, and if we connect this to the bigger picture, we really have to look at the mechanics of that opening goal. Because it exposes a systemic risk in how elite teams set up at home.
How so?
Well, Portugal deploys this really high defensive line. They push their center backs way up to compress the midfield and choke out Hungary's passing lanes. They fully expect Hungary to sit deep in a low block.
Right, which makes sense on paper.
Yeah, exactly. But that high line leaves like 50 yards of green grass right behind the Portuguese defense. So Hungary just bypasses midfield press entirely. They send this direct, awkward, looping ball into the box.
And it forces a severe physical mismatch. I mean, you end up with Bernardo Silva contesting a header against Salah.
Yeah, not ideal. Not ideal. Silva is this brilliant, agile technician, but he is not structurally built to win aerial duels in his own penalty area against a towering center back who has pushed forward for a set piece or a long ball.
Right.
So Szalai connects, and the trajectory is so weird it completely bypasses the Portuguese goalkeeper.
And the historical context here, it really amplifies the shockwave of that specific play. The transcript highlights that this was the first goal Hungary has ever scored in a qualifying match on Portuguese soil. Ever. And beyond that, it was Attila Szalai's first ever competitive goal for his country. The traveling Hungarian support just absolutely erupts.
It's like a heavy favorite in a championship boxing match, getting knocked down in the very first 10 seconds. I mean, how much does a historic, unexpected moment like this rattle a team that is entirely expected?
It completely alters the psychological landscape. When an underdog realizes they can actually bleed a giant, it validates all their suffering.
Validates their suffering.
And it is a man with ambitions of playing in his 6th World Cup who has got them level.
Defending in a low block against a vastly superior opponent.
Well, it was Nelson Semedo
exhausting. Your legs
as an extra man inside the penalty area for
Portugal
Portugal
there. Scoring an early away goal against a tournament favorite
that made it all
that
possible.
Injects a massive surge of adrenaline.
And
Suddenly,
he squared it beautifully for Ronaldo.
Easier because now they actually have something
6-yard box. Now Nelson Semedo.
The favorite has to abandon their game plan.
Exactly. Portugal's entire game plan was likely built
Nuno
on
Mendes.
Moving the ball side to side, stretching Hungary's defense, waiting for a
Pedro
gap.
Neto.
But now, down a goal,
Nuno Mendes with the corner. Ronaldo.
they have to play faster, which never really leads to taking more positional risks.
So Portugal is trailing at home, the structural integrity of their game plan is shaking, and the crowd is getting really restless. And this is where they turn to their veteran.
Worked out really nicely, though.
Yeah, the transcript is heavily focused on Cristiano Ronaldo's singular drive to reach his 6th World Cup in 2026. But I want to look closely at the tactical mechanism of how he actually generated the equalizer.
It's a fascinating sequence.
It really is.
And just as Portugal was starting to wonder where the goal might be coming from,
and Ronaldo is just there for what looks like a really simple, instinctive finish.
Right.
So what does this all mean? We hear endless debates about Ronaldo's age and his declining pace. But looking at the exact timing of this run, is his superpower at this stage actually his spatial awareness rather than his physical speed?
Oh, absolutely.
Finish perfect.
And what's fascinating here is how elite veterans substitute raw pace with mental processing.
Like they're playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers?
Basically, yeah. When a forward loses that explosive kinetic energy, the ability to just outrun a defender from the halfway line, they have to compensate with processing. Ronaldo is operating like a highly advanced radar system, predicting traffic flow. He knows exactly where to be and when, which makes him almost impossible to defend in high-stakes moments.
He doesn't need to drive faster if his spatial awareness tells him exactly which lane's going to open up
awaiting across.
Spot on. He sees the defensive rotation happening in real time. He knows that if Semedo drives toward the byline, the Hungarian center backs have to drop their depth and turn their hips.
Right, they have to adjust.
And he identifies the blind spot that will appear 2 seconds later. He arrives in that negative space just as the ball does.
Wow.
The transcript calls it an instinctive run, but it's actually decades of pattern recognition firing all at once.
It's an awkward one.
It looks like a simple tap-in, but the real work was done entirely in his head.
Reading the spatial dynamics of the box better than anyone else on the pitch. And he follows that up by stepping to the penalty spot against Hungarian keeper Balazs Toth to give Portugal the lead.
Massive.
Yeah. The transcript notes Toth actually guesses correctly and waits him out, but Ronaldo's placement is so precise the keeper is just powerless to stop it. And here's the crazy stat. That penalty was his 39th goal in a World Cup.
And Attila Szalai
No man in
his
history
first
has
ever
scored.
competitive goal
But
for
I
his
have to ask
country.
you, well, his spatial awareness
Well,
is
it was a
incredible.
non-contest up against Bernardo Silva for the big defender.
Oh, for sure.
Like, is he finding
as you
that
would
space
expect, was a good one, looping beyond the reach of Diogo Costa.
Or are defenders so terrified of his reputation that they overcompensate, creating passing lanes for the rest of the team?
Goes to the Republic of Ireland before hosting Armenia. Alvarado have been entertained tonight, and they might yet be again here as Conceição is very near.
Space for players like Semedo to exploit.
Right.
But
in from Szoboszlai.
But relying on a 40-year-old veteran to constantly orchestrate those micro margins, it has a glaring tactical side effect. It means the rest of the team has to compensate for reduced defensive pressing. The midfield is forced to cover far more ground, operating at a totally frantic pace just to maintain
Bernardo Silva.
Which perfectly explains why the match didn't settle down after Portugal took a 2-1 lead. I mean, you would assume they would just strangle the tempo, pass the ball around, and kill Hungary's momentum.
Not dealt with when it should have been.
Instead, the midfield structure completely unwrapped.
Tots had to come up with a save to prevent
purely unstructured.
Nuno Tavares.
They're just trading blows.
Complete loss of control by both sides.
The two.
Exactly. Bernardo Silva scores what the transcript calls a sublime, perfectly controlled finish amidst heavy Hungarian appeals for offside. But Hungary refuses to lie down.
They fought back so hard.
They exploit those massive gaps we just mentioned in the Portuguese midfield and level the score at 2-2.
And this is where that lack of an organized pressing structure really hurts Portugal. When your forward line isn't cutting off the initial passing lanes, a resilient team like Hungary can transition the ball quickly from back to front.
Just totally bypassing. But here's where it gets really interesting. We constantly see teams score a massive equalizer and then immediately
the latest milestone Cristiano
and that's exactly
Ronaldo
what happens here. It's like a high-speed game of ping pong. You barely have time to celebrate a goal before the ball is flying past your own net again.
It's ruthless stuff.
Just 2 minutes after Hungary makes it 2-2,
waiting out
João
Ronaldo
Cancelo
and
immediately wins the ball back and curls in this delightful, perfectly placed shot to re-establish Portugal's lead.
Leaving Dominic Szoboszlai visibly frustrated as the transcript points out.
Yeah, Szoboszlai was furious. But how does a team mentally and tactically reset when the momentum is swinging every 2 minutes?
Well, you're hitting on a vital concept here. Think about the emotional and physical capital Hungary spent to claw their way back to a 2-2 draw.
Drifting purposely forward and going for goal.
When that ball hits the back of the net, there is a massive spike of adrenaline and euphoria. But that spike was followed almost instantaneously by a physiological exhale.
Like an involuntary mental reset.
Precisely. The body basically says, we did it, we're safe.
It's like when you spend 3 exhausting weeks pushing to finish a massive project. The second you hit send on the final deliverable, your brain turns off. And you immediately drop the ball on some basic everyday.
That is the exact neurochemical mechanism at play. And elite teams like Portugal, they are trained to weaponize that post-success emotion.
Nego with a chance.
Wow, weaponize it.
Yeah. They use immediate aggressive pressure to break the spirit of an underdog who just spent all their energy early on. They know the opponent's focus will be compromised for roughly 60 to 90 seconds after.
So Cancelo didn't just happen to win.
They could be in trouble here, and they are.
No. He executed a high-intensity trigger press specifically designed to hit Hungary while they were still exhaling. That's why Szoboszlai is so furious. He recognizes that they just spent immense energy climbing the mountain, only to fall directly into a tactical trap.
Portugal essentially kicked them right back down the mountain before they could even plant the flag.
Just 2 minutes after
so
giving it up.
3-2, with the emotional wind completely knocked out of Hungary, the match feels functionally over.
The reaction of
Portugal even brings on fresh attacking talent like João Felix to maintain pressure.
Right, to inject some fresh legs and keep control of the ball.
You figure they just need to manage the clock, lock the door, and secure the free throws. But managing the clock requires a cohesive defensive unit.
And, as we discussed, those structural gaps, the heavy lifting required by the midfield to cover for an aging forward line, they were still glaring.
Which brings us to the dying moments of stoppage time. I want you to imagine the stunned silence in that Portuguese stadium. Despite the ruthless, spirit-breaking nature of Cancelo's goal, Hungary simply refuses to.
Their resilience was incredible.
They mount one final desperate attack deep into stoppage time. A player named Lukacs is involved in the build-up, and they actually managed to find a stunning late equalizer to make it 3-3.
A swing and lack of.
The transcript ends on this incredibly dramatic note, stating that this stoppage time goal puts Portugal's immediate progress to the 2026 World Cup on ice.
Yeah, a massive halt to their momentum.
So looking at the whole picture, was this late collapse a failure of Portugal's defense to close out a game they should have won? Or is it just
Hungary
a testament
simply
to an
refusing to be beaten tonight? And in stoppage time, a goal from
the default reaction is usually to
Portugal's progress to the 2026 World Cup on ice.
Exactly. When you have Portugal's resources, conceding a stoppage time equalizer to a